it's a matter of doing something in your life that's, one, it was different, something that I think could fulfill something in me of wanting to be a part of a bigger something. In the military is that, and being able to have some opportunities that I never would be able to have being a part-time working mom in Katy, Texas.
Hi, my name is Second Lieutenant Laura Childs. I'm with Texas ADT-4 in Fob Ghazni, Afghanistan. I miss you guys. I love you. Can't wait to see you.
I was interested in joining the military back in high school when I saw my older brother go through, he joined the Air Force Academy, and I went to watch him be sent off and saw the Air Force Academy up in Colorado Springs and thought it was beautiful. So I decided then I wanted to be in the military, but instead decided to go a different route, go into healthcare, and got married and had kids, and then kind of put that on the back shelf for a while. Didn't think about it until I hit my mid-30s and got bored with what I was doing and dissatisfied, and started thinking about it again and took it back off the shelf, and I joined. My favorite opportunity in the military, believe it or not, was going to Afghanistan, because there's not a lot of people that would ever have that chance. And seeing a whole culture. For me, I was on a female engagement team, the female engagement team leader, so I got to work with female government officials, I got to work with female village leaders, I got to work with female villagers and youth and children and young girls and stuff. So I got to see the whole spectrum. And being able, one, to spend an entire year in another culture was fascinating. And being that close and being able to get to know women in another culture. Women who have grown up their entire lives in a combat zone. We were only there for a year. They lived there their whole lives. And just seeing their mentality of independence and strength and the desire, especially the young girls, their desire to want something more in life, it was neat. I don't know if I want to tell you about I don't know if I want to talk about getting shot at.
It's not an RPG.
Probably the most disturbing moment we had in Afghanistan was, I think it was on the second day we were there. There was probably 14, 15 of us decided to go on an aerial recon flight, which is basically get in two helicopters. We're going to fly around and see what the area looked like from the air. So we get in the helicopters and we're looking around. We got the videotape out, and all it is just brown dirt, and you can see plots of land and where people are farming, but just pretty much brown and barren. And so we're going up. It's called Highway 1. Driving down, and we see this big long traffic jam of trucks and cars. Everybody was stopped on the road. Couldn't tell what they were doing. I couldn't tell what they were doing, but apparently it was the Taliban who had made a roadblock and was stopping traffic, and then they were getting into a firefight with the local Afghan police force that was down there. So we're hovering around, kind of checking things out, figuring out what's going on, and then before we know it, they start shooting at us. So they're shooting at us with the rifles, and then start shooting at us with rockets, these RPGs. And yeah, it was pretty disturbing to get shot at. We had, the way it is in a helicopter, we're in a black box, you have your pilots, and then behind the pilots you have your crew chief, a couple other seats, and then you have two guys in the corners called the gunners. So we flew around, they shot at us a few more times, the gunners did their job, eliminated the risk and the threat. They eliminated the threat, and yeah, it was quite disturbing. And that was on day 2.
Ranch School is the world's premier leadership school within civilian and military organizations. It is a leadership school that tests you both physically and mentally.
Ranger School has historically never been open to women in the military. It's a all-male school, and as of January of 2014, the U.S. Army has decided to try to open up different positions in the military and different positions in the military for women.
If you would have asked me that whenever I was young and before I matured, I guess you could say, when I was a young hard ass, I should say, I absolutely was against it, hated it. Whenever I went in range school in 1997, I never would have been able to see a female being in that capacity or in that world. I just wouldn't see it.
Well, I think a woman can make it just as well as any man can make it. You know, the right woman that's strong enough, that's worked out, that's prepared. Mentally, you just have to be mentally strong to go in. You have to go in with the idea that you're not going to quit.
Many Texas State students are appalled at the racist video and are working to make sure negative stereotypes aren't being enforced on campus.
I think that the video was a really inaccurate depiction of how Greek life is everywhere. Just because it's that way with that one chapter in the one school, it doesn't mean it's that way everywhere. And I don't want people to get the wrong impression of Greeks.
Greek Affairs Vice President Bob Dudalski says Texas State officials want to make sure nothing of the sort happens here.
All 36 of the Greek organizations on our campus do work together to try and have a understanding not just only of their own existence as organizations, but the celebration of their diversity as well as their commonalities of what draws them all together.
Multicultural Greek Council President Christian Acevedo says racism should not play a role in Greek life.
The Greek community is doing quite a bit of things to ensure the race relationship amongst our councils. We have multiple events throughout the semester that bring the community together.
All fraternities at Texas State are taking steps to make sure people of every race feel comfortable and welcome in their organizations. For Bobcat Update, I'm Ashley Childs.
The Whitliff collections at Texas State's Alkek Library have been the home to multiple exhibits throughout the years. From the Faces of Texas to the Lonesome Dove collection, the Whitliff collections offer a variety of exhibits for students, faculty, and anyone interested in history.
Well, the Whitliff collection concentrates with Southwestern photography and Southwestern writers collection, and also we have archives, which has many different Texans. We have Willie Nelson stuff, we have King of the Hill, and also we have our Pandemic collection, which is the Lonesome Dove.
The Whitliff's newest edition is called Homegrown, featuring hand-drawn music posters from Austin's music scene.
So the Homegrown exhibition that's on view right now at the Whitliff Collections is our premier exhibition of music posters that were created in the late 1960s through the early 1980s.
Keeping with the homegrown theme is another Whitliff exhibit called Armadillo Rising. It features artifacts from the 1970s, including items like Willie Nelson's blue jeans and shoes, the guitar he played at Austin City Limits, and even some spent marijuana joints. The exhibit Homegrown and Armadillo Rising will run until July 3rd. For more information on events hosted by the Whitliff Collections, you can visit the Whitliff Collections website. For Bobcat Update, I'm Nick Casiano.
Flu season is usually in January and February, but health officials at Texas State say they've noticed more cases recently. The flu is a virus that spreads quickly and can be contracted from things as simple as touching a door or shaking hands with the carrier. To prevent the spread of the flu, Student Health Center says to wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and most importantly, get vaccinated. The flu vaccine is available at the health center for $20.
Well, if something like that was to be passed in Texas, I would probably leave Texas.
I'm gay, and I can't even imagine how backwards that is.
I think that act is definitely a big step backwards in what America means, like freedom and stuff.
If the people who were hired here weren't living out the values of the Catholic Church, I think that would be maybe a different standard than maybe at the flower shop or the Chipotle's or something like that.
I feel like it's unfair. It's almost like discriminating. That shouldn't be an issue, what you believe in or how you feel. And I feel like if it was in Texas, that would just be a big problem that we shouldn't have.
I wouldn't be happy with it if it got passed in Texas. Reason being is because they're discriminating people just because of the way they act. They can't just, if someone walks in, they can't immediately tell if they're homosexual or anything like that, but if they find out, it just changes the deal.
I think that 2015 is all about progression, and that act seems pretty backwards. And if that were to happen in Texas, I would not work for a business that discriminated based on sexual orientation.
Spring graduation is quickly approaching and students are already planning their futures. We asked some Texas State students what their plans are after they earn their diplomas.
After graduation, I plan on taking a gap year and just traveling around the world.
I'm a general studies major. I'm going to school to become a football coach, looking to pursue my master's. So preferably here, Baylor, or U of H.
My plans after graduation, I would like to take a year off actually and travel. And I'd like to find an internship working for a nonprofit organization.
So I'm currently a wound care nurse now, and I'm majoring in psychology so that after this I can apply to UT and go into neuropsychology.
I tend to eventually pursue my degree later on in my life, which would be teaching and coaching.
I know that I want to get a good job, and I'm still in the process of looking for an internship before, so afterwards I hope that I can land a good job.
After graduation, I'm not really sure yet. I plan to pursue something in the public relations field, and my main concentration is travel, so that's what I want to do, something with travel and leisurely kind of duties.